show everyone, one thing that we should discuss is these type of candles, the glass cased candles.
Yes.
We did get some questions on that. So I do read some of your comments, guys. So we'll get the guru here. We're not worthy. To show us how to dress one of these candles, because I know some of these candles will come out, but most of them, they're not going to come out of the case. And so when you're working with the root, when you're working in Conjure, there's a very specific way that you do dress these candles. So I'm going to leave it to Guru here to show us how to do that.
All right, so anyone who's familiar with the candles that you get at your local Botanica, they'll often have words written on them. This is "Pay Me" candle. That's good. You do want to have words written on your candles, but even if they come with words written on the candles, you want to make it more specific to you. So I start off with a Sharpie or a permanent marker. You could also write it on a piece of paper, glue it to the candle, whatever. What you're trying to do is take this very generic thing to make it specific to your work and make it even more specific to you. So the same way that we carved our words on the taper candle, we're going to write our words on the 7-day. So you want to start off with your target's name and date of birth. And yes, we use words like target because, that's what it is when you're doing this work. You're targeting a certain personal situation. So I will put Sen Elias, born.
What was that?
Right. And then I want to write my intentions the same way that I did on the taper candle. So income. Increased income. Prosperity. If you're looking for a job, you want to write that down there. And when you're done writing your words, it could even be a prayer. You could write a psalm on this candle if you like. You want to take something pointy. This works. And you want to put 2 holes in the candle. You can use chopsticks. You can use tongs, anything. You can use a pencil. But you just want to make 2 holes in the candle. We use 2 holes because it seems to be the perfect amount not to drown the wick. If you put too many holes in your 7-day, it'll drown the wick. And it'll, after you took time to dress a candle and make it pointless. So those are the 2 holes right there. In these holes, you want to load your herbs. And so we'll default back to our money drawing herbs. Just go ahead and put those in the top of your candle, like so. Take your utensil, whatever utensil you use to load the candle, and stuff those roots into those holes. You want the roots to fill those holes. Take your time.
So how deep should they go down?
They should, with whatever method you use, you should see a line going down the side of the candle, because you also want to be very sure that you're pushing the roots down. So when the roots are completely full of the holes, probably 3/4 full, because then you want to top it with your oil, whatever oil you're using.
Right.
If you're using Hydron or if you're using olive oil, and that's. I just want to be very clear with hoodoo. You don't have to get fancy. You don't have to go out and buy these fancy things. Back in the day, they didn't have these fancy things. They would go out of their front door. This was the common man's magic. This was the poor folks' magic.
Yeah.
So you get those herbs nice and stuff down into the candle through the holes that you made. Mm-hmm. You pour a little oil on top and make sure that oil drops as much as it can into the holes as well. Because you don't want to drown the wick of your candle. It's all this work that goes into dressing these candles, and then you drown your wick, and you have to start all over again. So what should happen if your candle is dressed well? With 7 days, they melt because of the heat, the melting point. They melt about right here. And you'll see, even if you just burn a regular 7-day, that the wax in the candle will just keep rotating as it burns. And so it's working the wax. If you have your roots in there appropriately and your oil, it'll work the roots. It'll work that oil for 7 days. And it's literally just going around in circles as it goes down. You can even decide, much like the knob candles that go over 7 days, except for you have to watch those knobs.
Right.
With this, you can have it separated into 7 days. So if you work with 7 days enough and you know how far it burns down per day, you can say, here I want to find a job. Here I want a promotion at that job. Here, I want to, you know, get recognition at that position, and these different things will happen. This is a this is a really great way to find a house as well.
Oh, yeah, what a good idea.
If you could start the house search, you can find an agent, you can find a physical location, and you can move in. And so something that takes more than one step to accomplish, 7 days are really good.
That's awesome. All right, so you fill it up with oil. How far? Or just till the holes are covered?
Just until the holes are covered. You can have a little bit on the top. I always pat it dry on the top because I'm really concerned about that wick being drowned.
So you don't drown the wick.
You don't drown the wick, so you just pat it dry on the top. You don't want excess oil. You could, and if you're doing it right, you should see the holes go down the side of the candle. You should know that I can see these much roots. You know, it's like a fill mark. These many roots in here, and I have this much oil in here, and it's not, you know, affecting the top of the candle.
So that's why you said chopsticks immediately.
Yeah, well, chopsticks are the right width.
Right.
They're the perfect width. I mean, of course, back in the day, they weren't using chopsticks.
They didn't have chopsticks.
They didn't have chopsticks. But it's since we have
the
it now.
The Chinese weren't in America at that same time.
But since we have it now, we use it.
We use it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So you evolve.
Yes.
That is the idea.
This is just a little PSA since we're here.
Great. Go on, say.
How do I put this? So, people will try to take you back to the time, you know, of the slave trade. They'll try to take you back there. They'll try to simplify Conjure. You know, they'll try to say that it's very basic, it's very simple, simplistic, it's very down south. And it is. That's the spirit of it. But let me tell you something, baby. I have met CEOs in D.C. who have mojo bags in their right pocket, who are making buku bucks doing this. And so as the people evolve, as African Americans become more educated and more successful, so does the work. And so we still use what's available to us. We have a lot more that's available to us now, but we still use it. And so don't neglect that. You don't always have to go back to the original. You don't always, if you have high John oil, why not use your high John oil? Yeah, you can use your olive oil. And if that's all you have, then that's what I suggest. But if you have access to high John oil, if you know your planetary hours, then you got to use these things. Otherwise, what are you trying to do? You know, like, what are you really trying to, like, make your magic work? And if that's how it can work, then make it work.
Right.
That's
Cheers to that, baby.
Cheers to that.
Thank you so much. I've been educated, as always, hanging out with this guru.
She's a guru.
But,
that's why we love each other.
That's why we love each other.